advice. You never know if it could change your life. Take a chance, you're neither wrong or right. You never know.
Matt,
if you
what are your thoughts on the products and features and applications provided by the Microsoft company? Are you for them? What are your feelings on Bill Gates and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation?
Well, yes, I have lots of thoughts. Here's a funny anecdote: is that Microsoft Teams, which is I think a group work thing designed.
It's a messaging app. Listen, Slack,
messaging app
Slack,
designed
Teams,
for
all these things. They're just advanced versions of AIM. They're going to try to sell you as a productivity tool, but it's just AIM with a lot of bells and whistles.
Well, there's also voice chat, so I think it's also Ventrilo.
Right. Sorry.
TeamSpeak.
These are just AIM and TeamSpeak merged together. You're not fooling me, Slack Corporation. Anyway,
it's obviously designed for like management consultant type people, and I think it works really well though. If you're trying to use it to teach school to like children, children love
is this
it.
what your,
just like management consultants?
Is this what your school mandates? Is Teams?
Yeah.
Microsoft I've
Teams.
used Teams. My workplace uses Slack, but I have used Teams elsewhere. They're both terrific. Again, just a merger of things that we used to use in one pretty package. But yeah,
here's a funny story: is that Teams fucks up all the time. But one time, teaching AP US history, I wanted to show my students a 5-minute clip from the Earl Morris documentary, "The Fog of War." Of like, I don't know if you've ever seen this documentary, but there's
I have
one
not.
where Robert McNamara is, going through his many war crimes, and he's like, and then we just, firebombed every major city in Japan, and he just kind of goes over it, and some Philip Glass music plays in the background. And Microsoft Teams fucks up all the time. The one thing it always did is when I showed a clip of this movie, it always, after 10 seconds, blanked out the screen. No matter if I was showing the clip from YouTube, Amazon Video, or my own fucking DVD, it had the like predictive power to be like, oh, this is a copyrighted movie. You can't show this over our platform.
That's
Microsoft
advanced programming. Hello everyone. This is Dungeon Master of None.
I'm Dungeon Master Matt.
I'm Dungeon Master Rob, and the joke here is that Matt has now received dose 2 of the Moderna vaccine. Congratulations, Matt. You are
oh yeah, sorry. And I love Microsoft now.
And he loves Microsoft. He's now fully vaxxed. I'm half vaxxed. Hopefully soon to be fully vaxxed. Just 10 days away.
Bill Gates is daddy. Thanks, Bill Gates.
Yeah. Apologies. I'm conflicted about this, Matt. I don't know. Maybe I'll cut this. But like, the one great thing about living in America is that we are really good at throwing money at the problem. And so it has been relatively easy to get a vaccine. This comes on the heels of one of the absolute worst, most dogshit years of living in America, and one of the most catastrophic responses to the coronavirus worldwide. So, please don't get mad at us for getting the vaccine. It sucked here. It was and is still quite bad. But the end is coming. The herd immunity is arriving, theoretically. Maybe.
But don't worry. I'm sure all other countries, especially poor ones, will be able to get America's sweet vaccines in return for billions of dollars of money. So.
Yes. I'm sure that Daddy Gates will generously provide vaccines to whoever is willing to allow the creeping tendrils of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation into those countries to
so today we're talking
humanitarian
about
work.
Yes, humanitarian work. And building on that, today we're talking about resources for dungeon masters.
That's right.
The resources that every dungeon master needs. And first on that list is, of course, the wonderful suite of Microsoft tools from Microsoft Office 360, Windows 10, Microsoft Access, Microsoft Excel. Can you name any other obscure Microsoft ones? That aren't like PowerPoint?
You mentioned Access.
Access
is a real niche one. Microsoft. PowerPoint.
Every dungeon master needs Microsoft Access.
no, we're going to be talking about Dungeon Master resources. We've got a big list, and I'm excited about this. We should clarify, there are more thorough lists than the one you're going to receive today. This is a curated list, just like our
you could look at a
selection
blog.
Yeah.
This will be an episode. People will be like, you could just make this a blog post. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, we know that.
But
Maybe
we're not
going
to do that.
But like this is a discussion, a curated list of ones that we like and can recommend. And I've got some. We've done some of this before, but I think this is the first time we've done like a real like tools and resources. So I'm excited about this. This was fun for me, Matt. I use a lot of things sort of like ad hoc, and I've been, because I'm constantly behind and struggling, I just like have thrown them into a folder over the years and, pick and choose as I'm desperately trying to put my games together. But this was really fun to go back through and like review everything and update some of my the tools that I had been using. And Matt, there's a lot out there. There's a burgeoning, robust, pretty sophisticated GM role-playing ecosystem. Yeah. A lot of actually neat tech. Like sometimes being in the TTRPG space, you can feel the fact that there are not billions of dollars flowing into this particular industry by the lack of certain resources that exist elsewhere. But things have gotten better. There's a lot of web pages and apps and tools of various sorts that are now available to all of us, and more every day. So this is pretty exciting.
Yeah. There's even WordPress blogs, which is super advanced tech that we're excited to share with you.
Very, very advanced. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, what? So where do we want to start? Do we want to start with something jokey? How about this? My first resource is my own damn big brain.
That's right.
Okay,
that's right. The resource that you
anything?
need is a binder. You need a Lisa Frank binder, and you need to wrap it in. To close it with, hair clips. I don't know. Here's the thing.
Do you ever judge dungeon masters like myself who show up with the game with just like a moleskin notebook?
No, I do that all the time. The thing is, we'll talk about why we need these things later, but
to look cool with the moleskin notebook.
Gone are the days, in my opinion.
Because if you could be at the coffee shop with a moleskin notebook, working on your campaign, and people will be like, "Oh, is he an artiste?
I
is
like
he writing
a moleskin.
poetry?
It has nice paper and it feels nice to carry around. I like a moleskin.
Hemingway
used
used a moleskin notebook.
So here's the thing, folks. Once upon a time, you could, with just a legal pad and some graph paper, do everything that you needed to do for your campaign. And you know what, technically you probably still can do that, but we all have way more demands on our time and attention and way more tools available to us. And so if that still works for you, please, for the love of God, do it. Stay offline, never go on the internet. But if you're like the rest of us and are trying to do a bunch of things at once and have too many things to keep track of and are trying to communicate with a bunch of easily distracted players, there's a lot of things that make this easier for you, and we're going to share some of those tools. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, here's the thing. Matt, if you allow me a little tangent here.
Tangent away.
All of these, all existing productivity tools of all sorts are designed to basically replicate either a notebook or a spreadsheet in one form or another. Every time somebody tries to pitch you on any sort of product management tool or productivity app, it's just a notebook or it's just a spreadsheet that's got a bunch of neat automations to make it a little bit easier. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm simply saying that with you could do your own double entry accounting and build your own spreadsheets, but it is okay to lean on technology to help you with these things. But if you prefer to do things by hand, if you prefer to come with a big binder and present that to your players, that's beautiful. I love that, and you should continue to do it. But we will give you some things to make it a little easier.
Well said. Tangent over.
Yes. So where do we want to start, Matt? Do we just want to go back and forth? Clarification for the listeners. Matt and I have not discussed this ahead of time. Yeah. We are probably going to have a lot of overlap because we share a brain, but we have not discussed
coming in
this.
Cold. We've met each other at the thoroughfare, and we're both slowly drawing back our coats or jackets to reveal a 6-shooter filled with who knows what.
That's right. So we're just going to go through and talk about what we've got, and we'll put together a list at the end. We'll put this all in the show notes, and hopefully this is of some use to all of you.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
First category I got for us today is maps, right? You always need maps and shit, so whether they're big maps or small maps. So I thought we'd share some resources about maps or mapping.
I think that's great. I also have a
Don't confuse it with napping. We are not making any flint blades or arrowheads.
Not today. Though you
Also
could.
useful, though.
Very useful. So Matt, what have we got for maps from Matt's? What have we got for maps from you, Matt?
Matt's maps. Yeah, I think the first one is just one that is always super useful if you just need maps, especially of dungeons and cities, and that is the maps by Dyson Logos. Dyson Logos has drawn maps for many D&D published works and third-party works. He has a very distinctive hand-drawn style that is very beautiful and aesthetically appealing, and he's good at designing dungeons. His set of maps, which are freely available, and he, I think, allows you to use in just any of your publication, as long as you credit him, is incredibly extensive. Like, there's like 300 fucking maps in this thing, like more than you could ever need. And if you want to support him, he has like a $1 a month Patreon.
Yeah, these are, most of them, all of them are available at DysonLogos.blog. I've used these a bunch. They're tremendous maps. There's a gajillion of them. You can subscribe to his Patreon for $1, and I encourage you to do so. This is a really, really good resource. I have used these extensively.
And once in a campaign, he stole a very rogue centered magic item when he was playing a cleric and I was playing a rogue, and I will still never forgive him for that.
It's also like, these are just really good maps because he's also like a very like smart and talented map maker. And so there's a lot of really clever design here. I mean, you can find just like basic maps, well drawn, but also vertical maps and maps with like different geomorphology, multi-page dungeons. It's just a tremendous resource.
Yeah, 2D maps, 3D maps. The maps of cities are great. Like, if you're doing a campaign, you might map out one city, but if you need a map for another city, you want to just be like a map of city. Google, go.
The recommendation that I have for this, I have multiples, but my number one, my go-to is the Cartographers Guild. And this is a old school website and forum, cartographersguild.com, full of map making enthusiasts. It is less searchable and useful than other map making tools, but if you were looking for inspiration, if you were looking for guides or tutorials on making your own maps, and this is actually probably the best thing that Cartographers Guild has. This is the place for it. If you want to either the long way, the easy way, whatever, with Photoshop or the free version GIMP or any other map making software, you will find a really, really cool and easy to follow tutorial here. You'll find a lot of publicly available maps. You'll find a lot of inspiration. You'll find a lot of just discussion of especially world level map making, but also cities and discussions of where mountains should go and rivers. If you're really, really trying to make a accurate and detailed fantasy map, this is one of my favorite locations. I usually start here and then borrow and improvise on sort of like what I've learned. But there's a lot of like really exceptional map making experts on the forum. So if you have questions or thoughts or just want to learn from them, this is one of my favorite places on the internet when it comes to map making. It's also old school.
Yeah, it's such a throwback to internet like 1.0.
Yeah. This is old school. They've got a Discord server too. Yeah, big fan of Cartographers Guild in general. A lot of like very talented, helpful people.
Okay, yeah, I second it. It's definitely the kind of website where you could go and be like, someone drew a world that looks really nice. I don't have any idea what my continents in my home campaign should look like. I'm just gonna use this for inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about a something map like here? And for that, I'm going to recommend Hex Hexed or HexTML. .playtest.net, which is a free web browser hex graphing tool. Now, like I know not everyone is down with hex mapping out their campaign, and you don't have to be. But if you're like, I do want to make a hex map of the like region of the world my players are in, old school style, this one works just fine. You can save it. It's the use is not like perfect. It's not like perfectly intuitive, but it's like easy enough that like after 15 minutes with it, you should be able to figure it out.
I like hexes. Even if you don't use them extensively, I think that it's really helpful to me to like chunk out your either like local area or sort of the broader region into hexes. I find that useful. It's probably because my brain has been poisoned by playing in hexes for my entire D&D life, but I haven't used Matt's this thing, but I love the idea, and hexes are useful. You love a hex crawl. Hex crawls are useful.
Yeah,
crawl your hexes.
Crawl your hexes. I mean, there are a bunch of tools for drawing hexes. I would say like none of them are perfect. Another one which has both a free and paid version is called Hexographer, which is just it's like if you want to really build some big hex maps, you can absolutely do it with Hexographer. It is the least intuitive, clunkiest piece of software ever, and to get the full resources, you definitely need to pay. I have definitely built world maps with Hexographer, and it's a huge hours thing. I'm not really recommending this one, but I mean, I don't really know of anything else. If you're like, I need to build a 30 by 30 hex map for my next regional campaign. I mean, you can't really go wrong with Hexographer, other than like it doesn't like have like a limit on the amount of RAM it will use. It will like use up all your computer's RAM, and it will be very frustrating. But you will get that 30 by 30 hex map. So that's Hexographer.
Hexographer.
What about you? Got any other maps?
I got
mapping
one
stuff?
more. I mean, there's about 1 billion of these tools, right? And I have a couple that I recommend, and I'm gonna stop there. But there's a lot, and we'll include some other links. But you can find a lot of really good existing maps and map making tools. But the other one that and it depends on what you need them for. The other one that I recommend that I've used that I really, really like, but it's kind of got a niche use, is the Medieval Fantasy City Generator. And this is on itch, and we'll include a link. And it's so
delicious.
Fucking cool. What it will do is it's procedurally generated, and it will generate a random medieval city layout, and you can decide how many walls you want, rivers, etc. And it's really just sort of like a stylized map. It's not going to produce a very you can't produce like a very like detailed or precise map, but it will generate districts, and it looks very stylized and cool, and you can sort of like stretch and move things around, and it ends up creating a really, really unique and interesting and modifiable city map. And if you're either building your own city or you just need a quick like city map and you're not too it's not too critical where everything goes, it's really, really, really handy. I really like it. It's just a really neat piece of procedural generation. And it's one of my favorites for building small, medium cities, especially. It's just so cool.
Yeah, and I think the great thing about medieval city generator is that you just sit there and generate medieval cities all day and not actually get any planning done.
Oh yeah, no, it's also a great way to like waste your entire day. I think the last campaign I used this for, I spent more time just playing with the generator than I did writing up the first session, because it was just so easy and so fun, and I kept getting closer and closer to the perfect city map. But I really love this. It's a really cool piece of technology.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is with mapping tools, especially for like dungeon mapping or like battle mapping, right? Like if you're like, okay, we're gonna play on a virtual tabletop tonight, like I want a, sweet dungeon map or battle map. There are a ton of tools for this right now, and they're all, I think, they all take a pretty significant amount of time. But you can get some really, really great results. Just a shout out to listener Alex de Koning, who made a beautiful battle map out of the one-page dungeon that we created like 2 years ago. Super awesome. Include a link to that as well. Just as what you can do
if you
with this type of stuff.
Aside, if you have any talent or skill whatsoever in any like visual modification application, any artistic talent whatsoever, there's a lot of tools now that make this really easy for you and give you a lot of like powerful things to play with when creating your own maps. So even a gormless rube like me can create pretty decent maps with the things that are available to me. So it's a beautiful time to be making maps for role-playing games.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like making the like virtual maps, I usually stick to whatever is available in the virtual tabletop itself. So like if it's Roll20, I'm going to use the Roll20 assets that are like free, and that's probably it.
Yeah, I generally default to that too. But if I had more time and energy and money and also time again, I would do a lot more maps, because there's just you can create really great ones.
What category should we talk about next, Rob?
I want to talk broadly about blogs, Matt. And Blags. And this is interesting. Speaking of Internet 1.0, there used to be, and there still sort of is, a pretty extensive network of blogs, because for D&D and for tabletop role-playing, because, of course, many of the players are older and also technically oriented and grew up in that, or came online in the early days. But of late, a lot of those have diminished in quality, and of course the internet has moved away from blogging in a big way. But there's still a lot of these that are very, very good. But a lot of the mainstays aren't as good as they used to be, and some of them have moved in a different direction, and a lot of the like very like best, most interesting, cutting edge advice and information comes in the form of YouTube videos or podcasts like this one. But there's still some great blogs out there. And one that I actually discovered, or maybe I rediscovered while I was doing research for this, is a blog called Master the Dungeon. And I really like this one. It's a full-on website. It's got a bunch of great blogs on it, but it's also got a ton of resources like the ones we're describing to you. Not the same list, though you will see some overlaps, but it's got a great list of resources. It's got videos, it's got blogs, but it's just got a really good list of blogs about running the game, DM advice. There's a lot of stuff on painting minis and, the physical culture of tabletop role-playing. I really like this. It's very useful. It'd be a good place to subscribe to and just check for updates or search for advice. It's a solid blog. A+.
It's a blog of blogs, right? It's the most general, all-purpose D&D blog that you can find.
Yes, it's very high level. It's not super specific, which is great if you don't mind looking for what you're looking for.
Okay, well, I'll hit you with a blog too, Rob. My recommendation for a blog is thealexandrian.net by Justin Alexander. And this blog has a ton of musings and reviews for a bunch of different role-playing games. But the part I want to recommend to basically all dungeon masters and game masters is the section of the blog called Game Mastery 101, which just has a series of, I feel like, close to like 100 articles on some of the really basics for adventure design, adventure prep, making rulings at the table, and just all sorts of dungeon master tips. And if you haven't read through at least some of these, you absolutely should. We've referenced on the show many times Justin Alexander's 3-clue rule for designing mysteries and basically all adventures, prepping structure, or not prepping plots, but situations. It's a great blog.
I also really like the Alexandrian. This is definitely advanced D&D advice, but there's some really good articles on there. I've used some Alexandrian advice or suggestions for Waterdeep Dragon Heist. There's a lot of really, really good, really detailed, really smart suggestions from Justin Alexander. This is one of this. I would say this is absolutely top tier.
Yeah,
D&D
this
blog.
is a blog that really thinks critically about game design, but also dungeon master design in a way that very few other people who write about D&D truly dig down to. So it's very nice. It's very smart and very good.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a new DM or an advanced DM, if you're a new DM, the first couple articles on Game Mastery 101 will be like, oh yeah, this is a thing I want to keep in the forefront of my mind as I'm preparing adventures, as I'm running my games at my table.
Another one that I want to recommend, and we've mentioned this before, but not with direct reference to the blog, is slyflourish.com. We've recommended Sly Flourish's Lazy DM's workbook in the past, and there's a lot of really good stuff there, but there's also a full blog, of course, on slyflourish.com. Again, a old school internet 1.0, just a list of things, very bare bones, which you love to see. It's authentic. The only thing about Sly Flourish is that it can be kind of inconsistent in terms of the quality of the content. And I don't mean that any of it's bad. I just mean some of it's very, very basic advice, and some of it's very advanced advice. And it can be hard to distinguish sometimes, but there's a lot of really good content, and Sly Flourish has been writing for years and years and years and years and years, and there's a lot of free and paid advice. There's a bunch of, if you run written or pre-written D&D campaigns, there's a lot of thorough detail about how to run those. Hoard of the Dragon Queen, Curse of Strahd, Dragon Heist, etc.
Yeah, and if you want it condensed down to the like essentials or the best stuff, right? Give Mike Shea, I'm not actually sure how to say their last name, give them $5, $10. I forget what the Lazy DM's workbook costs, but it is not expensive. And Rob and I have both bought this.
It's worth
absolutely
$5.
Yeah.
It's very, very much worth $5. This is another very solid blog that I come back to from time to time, especially
especially
when
for
I'm
new DMs. I remember I was reading one of his blogs, right? Sorry.
Posts
See how our mindset has been destroyed by web.
We're all
2.0.
posters now, Matt.
It's just a post. No, it's a blog. It's a blog. Okay. It is numbers to keep in your head for D&D 5th edition, which is super useful for a new dungeon master. And Very useful for an old dungeon master, right? If you're a new DM, you need to be told again that, hey, 10 is an easy or medium saving throw, right? 20 is a hard target number, right? It's just attack bonuses range from this number to this number in 5th edition. Anyway, there's all kinds of really good basic advice on Sly Flourish.
Yeah.
I have a recommendation for another blag, Rob.
Go for it.
This blag doesn't have a lot of as much dungeon master advice. It's more rules and mechanics and the consequences of those mechanics. But I find that just as useful for a dungeon master, because if you don't understand, right, the mechanics at your table, that's one aspect of dungeon mastering that you're missing out of. And this blag, of course, is thinkdm.org. Have you read this blog?
I have come across thinkdm.org from time to time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just breaking down basically a lot of the way 5th edition's mechanics work, right? I mean, we've talked about like why critical fumbles, for example, are bad ideas. But if you ever want it like explained out, as if it was an academic paper with like citations and examples and probability tables, then you can go to ThinkDM and, it will be absolutely proven to you that the problem with critical fumbles or with gunslinger misfires or what the consequences of changing the rules on Spellblade cantrips were in Tasha's Guide to Everything, right? It's very much a mechanics lover's dream blog.
Yeah, it's really, really good for nuts and bolts, for mechanics, for understanding rules. This is a really, really solid resource. If you're trying to find if you're confused about a rule, there's basically 3 places you can go, because you're not gonna find it in the book.
The first, the Holy Bible.
You can go to Jeremy Crawford's Twitter page and you can search it and hope that he's like written something about it.
Just hope that someone pestered him with a question and he happened to respond that day.
You can go to Reddit and you can read a bunch of people arguing about it.
You could go to Reddit and roll the dice. 50% of the time, Reddit will get it right. 50% of the time,
50% of the time, they'll argue the entire time. Or you can come here, and it doesn't cover everything, but it does. There's Matt mentioned critical fumbles. There's some stuff on. I remember this article about surprise rounds.
Breaking down the feats was really interesting. Yeah. I actually owe a debt to ThinkDM when I designed half feats, like looking at which feats are actually considered good by the community and which ones are considered poor. Like what does it actually mean to take that -5 to hit and +10 to damage from like Great Weapon Master?
And they've done this for like. I'm scrolling through and they've got one for steady aim, and they put it in a chart, which I really appreciate. And
there's just a lot of good charts.
I can like math this out, but I'm rarely, and I can even I'm even capable of doing this math myself. But I'm not going to, and so like usually when I see a feat, I like kind of have to like. I've been playing numbers based games for 30 years now, and so I can get a good feel like is this mathematically valuable, but it's really good to see it like written out, so you're like, oh, steady aim or sharpshooter or crossbow expert is better or worse than I think it is, or it's numerically more valuable or less valuable at certain levels. Anyway, that's good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff at thinkdm.org. Do you have any other blogs, Rob?
I do. The only one I want to recommend, and very briefly, is, and this is not in the same vein as any of the others, is Keith Baker's blog, keithbaker.com. He's basically got nothing except, like, his website's incredibly bare bones, except every couple of weeks he'll publish just a shit ton of world building about Eberron. And this isn't just...
He'll write, like, I don't know, 8,000 words.
Yeah. And this isn't just useful if you play in Eberron, though it's really useful if you do play in Eberron, but, like... He's a great world builder, and he's got tons of awesome ideas, and you can steal and borrow and also just be inspired. I like to come here and just see what he's dreaming up from time to time. This is just a great place to go for inspiration.
It's great because when he's writing his like 8,000 words on like, I don't know, Yuan Ti or whatever he happens to be writing about, the plains, right?
Yeah.
He does a really good job about walking the reader through why he's making these decisions and how that creates interesting, exciting adventure and role playing at the table, right? There's a lot of people who do world building, right? But very few of them are like, I'm doing this interesting decision, and the result will be this good thing at the table, right? And as Dungeon Master world builders, that's should always be our goal at the end.
Just scrolling through the first page, he writes about sphinxes and Eberron, and he's got a little subsection. Why does this matter? Don't time travelers break the game? Other sections include things like character ideas or how would you use this in a campaign? These are just, again, super, super handy, useful. Like, it's game-focused world building, right? It's like, how does this impact your game? How would this be used in your game? How does this affect a tabletop world? It's just very, very thoughtful. It's very, very useful. It's very, very interesting. And it's just, he writes really well in a way that is comprehensible, and he walks you through it, like Matt said. It's just, big fan. Again, not like super useful. You're not going to like go and find a stat block or a specific scenario that you can just borrow, but it's really, really useful for thinking about game design and world design.
We love you, Keith.
Big fans.
What type of stuff next? I have some kind of miscellaneous things. What do you have?
I got a few different things. Maybe we can. I've got most of what I've got left are tools and
I've got
apps and resources of that kind of thing.
I've got some tools, but I've got one other random thing that I don't know if you've seen, so I'm going to send you the link for that right now, Rob, which is publicdomainreview.org. And this is a website that basically curates and pulls up cool things that are posted by museums or archives or something that are in the public domain. And there is just all kinds of cool pictures and shit from all over the world, from really every different time period, except, of course, the most recent past. And if you're like, man, I'd really like a picture of a creepy drawing or some insane wizard's Demonomicon, or I don't know, just a creepy image to show to my players. This is, I think, where you should go. If you're like, I want a picture of a fish with monkey hands, or a handout to give my players of a bunch of medieval or early modern looking alchemical diagrams, right? You just hand it to them, and it's like, this is great, and they're all in the public domain, so you don't have to feel bad about this. You could even put it in a published adventure if you want it.
This is incredible. I didn't know about this, and you should just check this out. There's a ton of great, really cool books and images. And
remember that picture I sent you a couple months ago of a demon licking a man's foot while he was asleep?
Do remember.
Yeah, that was from some Persian Demonomicon from like 300 years ago, and it's so good, right? You're like, do I want a picture of a demon licking a man's foot? Yes, I do.
It's also super helpful to know like what you can use, what's in the public domain, what's okay.
And everything on this website's in the public domain, so it's great.
This reminds me of something that I use that I didn't put on my list, but I use from time to time, is just creativecommons.com, which is similar to public domain review, but not curated. So you're going to have to dig. But if you were looking for just general images that, again, real images, some recent, many from the past, to borrow or use to present to your players, it's a really, really good resource. Everything there is free to use in one form or another. These are both excellent resources for finding, again, publicly available resources that you can use in your games. Both Both require a little bit of digging, but they're also great for ideation and inspiration.
Absolutely. Okay, what about some tools, Rob?
All right, I'm going to talk about something that you're either going to hate, well, you're probably going to hate it. But I haven't spent a lot of time with any of these things, but I caveat, I've not used any of these platforms, but I am interested and will probably use them for future games. And these are campaign builder, campaign management tools. And there's 3 that I want to talk about. They all do kind of the same thing.
Number 1, Microsoft Teams. Number 2, Microsoft Access.
Microsoft Access.
Number 3,
Microsoft Office Cloud. No, there's 3 that I want to talk about, and they all do basically the same thing. These are 3 ways, basically, online dashboards. So if you use something like Trello or Asana or ClickUp or any of Airtable for work, if any of this sounds familiar to you, these are basically
none of these sound familiar to me, and they all sound like nightmare realms.
They are nightmare realms. If you use Salesforce, you know what I'm talking about. These are
ClickUp.
Yes, Matt.
That's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
It's not like ClickHole.
Nope, it's not a joke. You're probably familiar with these, but it's basically just like a big dashboard where all of your information lives. Again, this is just a sophisticated spreadsheet, but they're really, really cool. So Chronica, World End. So the 3 I'm going to mention, Chronica allows you to build a campaign, and the one that's good about this, from what I can tell, what's good about it is that it allows you to easily share information with and give limited permissions to your players. So if you want to run your campaign from sort of like a centralized location and send them updates or whatever, it seems cool for this. World Anvil seems like a very, very, very robust world building campaign tool. And Obsidian Portal, the 3rd that I recommend, is to me the least interesting, but it has an app. It also comes recommended by Wired and Penny Arcade, and has an ENnie award. Both Chronica and Obsidian Portal have an ENnie award, so that's something. They're not just entirely out of nowhere. These are really cool tools, and I'm thinking about using one of them for my next campaign because I think it would be really,
it's nice to have a wiki sometimes.
It's nice to have a wiki, and it makes it easy
or
for
something
you.
More than just a shared Google document.
Right. So the thing is I do this already with a big Google folder, but it would be anything to like streamline it and to like make it easier for my players is increasingly appealing to me. And so I just wanted to sort of like mention this to you. They're all free or like inexpensive, $3-5 a month. You should take a look. There are others that I didn't mention, Kanka and others. Again, the other thing is, I don't know, at some point one of these may become the king of all campaign tools, or Roll20 may get its shit together and put together one of these that actually works. The thing is that this, I think, is what Roll20 and D&D Beyond want to be. They want to be all things to all people, the platform where all of your role-playing lives.
Rules, assets, everything.
Neither has come even
through
close to actually achieving that, but maybe they will someday. I don't know. If one of these things goes down, then you might lose all your information. So, this is the risk. But it lets you basically build a wiki. Each of them has sort of varying tools for sharing or for providing information to your players. Obsidian Portal also comes with a social element, so you can like advertise your campaigns or recruit players. We've talked about a couple of these. I've been reached out to by more than one, like, we're a new DM finding app, and all of them have like failed to materialize in any real way.
Yeah, we'll always check back to those people who email us with, we have a new app to play Dungeons and Dragons with in 6 months, and see if they're still around.
Yeah, none of them has survived, so I don't know. But if you do want to sort of like both build your campaign and have a place to share it or show it or find players, then Obsidian Portal is a pretty cool option. Anyway, these are cool. They're interesting. I cannot, like I said, recommend them because I have not used them. I will probably try one of these for my next new campaign, which I will launch sometime this year. I like the idea. I like having sort of like a centralized location, like Matt said, a wiki, a place. Right now, it's just a combination. I keep notes on Evernote. I keep physical notes. I have notes all over Google. I have notes I send to myself on my email.
It's just a goddamn mess.
It's a mess. I just can't. I have too many tools. I'm too online. I need. Yeah. So that's the appeal of this to me. So that's my recommendation for some tools to look into.
All right, Rob, as a counterexample, let me recommend, since you got 3 in there, 2 of the simplest fucking tools you could ever, like, these can do everything. These can do one thing. All right. So here, the fox and the hedgehog, Rob. The hedgehog knows one thing. The fox knows many things. Anyway, whatever the fuck that old adage is or something. Okay. The first is, I'm trying not to laugh as I say this. The first is rolls.org, and that's spelled R as in Romeo, O as in Oscar, L as in Lima, and Z as in zebra.
Rolls
.org.
Rolls with a Z and 1 L. Right. Yeah. I love it.
Of course.
Love it.
And
this is my startup app. This is actually a VC pitch. It's called Rolls. Sorry, what does it do?
Yeah.
I apologize.
And I mean, it's the opposite of a VC pitch in that this app is, or this website is incredibly old. It doesn't have a app. And the only thing it does is you can create a private room or a public room that you can send a simple code to your friends, and you can have an online dice roller there. So if you're like, we are playing D&D online, but we are not using Roll20, we are not using a virtual tabletop or the Foundry or any of those things. It's like we're on Skype or Zoom, and we need a dice roller. This is the simplest fucking thing you can use. It will never fuck up. It is literally like, okay, everyone go to rolls.org, and here's the name of our lobby, right? And you just give the name of the lobby. The name of the lobby is Matt and Rob. You go there, and everyone's there, and everyone can see your rolls. It's that simple. That's all it does.
I have not used this. It looks terrific. It's very, very simple.
It's terrific because it doesn't do anything else. You can't have, you can't share an image or anything. All you can do is rolls.
Which is terrific. Yeah. I didn't mention dice rollers in any form because there's 1,000 of them.
Right. There's 1,000 of them. And it's just like, if you want one where it's a shared dice roller that's not going to fuck up, there's rolls.
It's also a really easy thing to program in a bunch of different apps. Otherwise, Discord comes with a pretty cool, or many different like dice rolling apps that you could just,
but if you're like, I'm too lazy to even install the dice rolling bot in Discord, even though that's what you're using, you can in 5 seconds get everyone on rolls.
So this is great. This is terrific. Rolls.
Rolls.org, talking about the justice and philosophy and things.
What's your second one, Matt?
Second one is just rolladvantage.com/token stamp. Now, if you're like me, you play a lot of your D&D games online, and you're like, how can I quickly make a token that looks good? With most virtual tabletops, you can drag and drop images in. But if you're like, I'd like everything to look like a token with like a border that's either square or hex shape or round, Token Maker is the simplest website that will turn any image into a token. It's super great if you want to give all your characters tokens in whatever virtual tabletop you're using, or make tokens for monsters. And it does one thing.
That is
it.
So this reminds me that comes up against one of my tools that I was going to mention, which does the same thing. And I don't have a recommendation as to either, but it's rptools.net, and they have a toolbox. And the one that I use the most, they've got 5 different applications which you can download. So the advantage of Token Stamp is that it's online, but they've got a token tool, which does exactly the same thing as Token Stamp. It's a little bit more robust. RP Tools also has a pretty good map tool and an initiative tool and a character tool, which you can use to really easily create character sheets and NPCs and things like that. This is clearly designed, I think I've mentioned this before, but clearly designed for people with some technical ability, and it's a lot more configurable and modifiable. But I really like RP tools. I use the token tool all the time to make tokens. This is a really useful resource if you have a little bit of time and you want to tinker and work with things.
Hey, that's a lot of resources, and I think the nice thing about pretty much everything we've mentioned is all of these are free, or at least have substantial stuff that is not behind a paywall.
I believe everything I've mentioned has at least some free features, and mostly is free. I want to mention, I've got.
Yeah, do you have anything that's like a complete paid thing?
No,
else?
A couple of the campaign builders that I mentioned are probably not as useful without the paid version, and I will probably throw $5 at one of them when I do use them. There are some paid map making tools that I like and would pay for if I needed to make more maps. I don't make that many maps, so I can't recommend any of them. But if I were budgeting, if this were a drill tweet and I were budgeting my, tokens $5.
Please help me. My
dice
adventuring
$10.
party is starving.
Battle mat $15. Worthless apps $10,000. Please help me. My game is dying. I would probably put a map making like actual software at the top of it, because you can spend $10 to $50 on something that will make it way easier. But if you have the time, you don't need to. You have anything that's paid, Matt? I mean, also, there's
I guess I do.
I like some of the like, this is more for players, but also is useful for DM. Both D&D Beyond and I forget the other one have really useful apps with all of the resources linked. And so if I'm trying to look up a spell or an item or a monster, I can do that in my book, or I can, but like, it's just really nice to have an encyclopedia that I can pull up on my phone or my computer or whatever. So I
guess we didn't even talk about D&D Beyond, which is the #1 D&D website in the world right now.
Well, I was going to mention that for a couple of my next resources. So
I mean, the frustrating thing is, like, I own, I think, every 5e book, right? But I don't own the D&D Beyond version of every 5e book. And it's just so incredibly frustrating when I'm on it and then I want to click on a spell. It's like, you don't own the player's handbook. I'm like, I have 2 player's handbooks right up there. I totally own the player's handbook, but I don't own the D&D Beyond one. And it's just, it makes me mad, and then it makes me leave the website.
This is the thing
their fault
that stops me from recommending D&D Beyond, though it is pretty cool. I was going to mention D&D Beyond in the context of, I have 2 like smaller, more focused resources that I want to mention, and one is an encounter builder. And I want to be clear that you should not lean very heavily on an encounter builder, but I like to have one just to sort of like eyeball the difficulty of an encounter and to sort of tweak it easily by adding and removing things, and just have a place to look for general creature stats. And D&D Beyond has a pretty good, it's still in beta, encounter builder. Of course, you need any of the resources that you want to draw from if you want to use any of those creatures or monsters. So if you don't own all the monster manual or appendixes, then you're limited to just what's in the general rules, which is still a lot of stuff, but it's kind of a nuisance. You can also use Kobold Fight Club, which I like a lot, or Donjon has a encounter builder. These are both great. D&D Beyond's is prettier and slicker, and it's a little bit like more user-friendly, but also you have to deal with, like we just said, owning all the resources.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the encounter builders like Kobold Fight Club is they're only useful if you like already understand how to build encounters. So see our encounter building episode. Otherwise, it doesn't really work, right? You already need the like special secret Gnostic knowledge.
Yes. What you absolutely cannot do is just like click a randomize button and get an encounter that works. But it does help eyeball the encounter you've already built, or tweak it if you're like, is that the right number of whatever's, like, have I like underestimated or overestimated the difficulty of this? Again, don't rely on it. I just find it useful as a tool to help keep all the things in one place, and it's a good, the right one will let you like look at HP and stats and saves all on one page, but it's limited usefulness because like Matt says, building an encounter is so much more than XP budget,
Yeah. I guess if I was going to recommend any like paid thing, obviously I think everyone who listens to our show has seen Matt Colville's Running the Game series on YouTube, which is incredibly good dungeon master advice delivered at a speed and cadence that would make Lorelai Gilmore fucking run back to Stars Hollow. It's good stuff, and Matt has a Patreon, not just for himself, but for his company, and we've already done a bonus episode on this, and we'll probably do another one soon. They have launched their version of Dungeon or Dragon magazine, Arcadia magazine, which is it's like an edited, curated DM's Guild section of or these old magazines, right? You get a adventure every month, and it's guaranteed to be pretty damn good. Plus some other player focused things. So I would want to recommend that. I think it's probably the best way you can spend $5 a month on D&D stuff. So yeah, I'd recommend MCDM Productions, Patreon, and Arcadia magazine.
Probably more useful than anything I've mentioned so far, but less easier to deal with is a name generator. And
I can't believe we've completely forgot about a name generator.
The thing is, it's so important, and it's on my list and we didn't get to it, but you can find
BabyNamesList.com.
Right. The thing is, you can find 1,000 of these. I just want to let you listeners know the two that I recommend. And we've already mentioned how important this is. I absolutely dropped the ball on this for my last campaign, but it really, really helps to have just a list of 10 names, maybe as many as, just 50 from different cultures or parts of the world, just on hand. So when your players are like, who's this guard? You're like, you don't have
on a page. And then when they're like, who's this guard? And it's, his name is Tellus. And then you mark Tellus guard location, right? And you won't use that name again.
But really good for building names is, my favorite is actually Behind the Name, which has a really, really good generator, which you can adjust culture, gender. It also has a fantasy and science fiction option. It's you're not going to get a bunch of bulk names quite as quickly, but if you're building your name lists, my favorite is BehindTheName.com. It has a really, really good name generator. It also is just, if you're curious about names, a really useful website. Another good resource is the Fantasy Name Generator app. It's just Fang. If you aren't as prepared and just need one really fast, it's pretty good. I think this costs money. I don't actually know. I haven't used it recently, but I liked it before. Actually, I think it's free, but you may have to pay for a certain number of names. It's good if you're on the spot and you need a name, but I really like Behind the Name for building name lists. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that is a super cool website with a lot of little fiddly levers, which is fun.
Yeah.
I actually, I didn't plan this, but I realized as we were going through this is one thing that I used that I wanted to include, which is a character sheet. I don't know if you have one of these, but for new players, I feel like the D&D 5th edition character sheet sucks ass. It's super hard to read and maybe has too many things on it. So I was looking around, and this is the character sheet that I actually use with new players because it is the simplest character sheet I could find that has everything that players need. I'll include the link. It's just called Joe's Custom Character Sheet. And there's lots of them that are kind of like this, that are just simple stuff, because with new players, I want them looking at each other, looking at me, looking at the map, and not reading a character sheet that has 1,000 words of text on it.
I haven't used this one. I really like this one. If I I would say maybe like the number one, like most important thing I would do if I were in charge of Wizards is pay a team of UI designers $1 million or something to make a character sheet that actually works and is intuitive and makes sense, because
or make 20 different character sheets.
Right. Just this
that
is
you could pick
this is
for
I have yet to find one that clicks with everybody and has everything on it. It is possible. I just it is a puzzle that nobody has solved to my satisfaction. But yeah, I would not use any of the official versions. If you were going to spend money on something, I would definitely try to find an alternative. I don't know.
I like Joe's. I like
Yeah,
Joe's
I like
custom
Joe's
character
too.
sheet. I mean, this is like a random one on the DM's Guild. Like, it is not like the most popular character
not.
sheet, but I think it has all the stuff, and it has the least amount of text on it, which I find with new players is super helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a good like recommendation resource, but find what your players will work with or what will work for them. But this one actually is really good. I may borrow this because it doesn't have a lot of text, and it's
only like $2 too.
Yeah, it's nice.
Rob, that was a lot of resources. We are encumbered, I think.
I think so too. I think we're gonna have to haul this back to our base of operations and unload it. But we'll include links to everything, and we'll probably do this again. If you want, if there was something that we didn't mention that you want us to talk about, definitely email us or add us on Twitter, DM us. Obviously, this doesn't cover everything. This is a curated list. It still took us an hour to go through, but these are really useful tools. I think they've made a lot of big difference. They've made DMing a lot easier. It also means that you are not as restricted by what's in official sources. The more that you have your own ability to build items, treasure, NPCs, names, the less you have to lean on what's already in the adventure, which is good in my opinion.
None of these are essential to play or dungeon master Dungeons and Dragons or any game, but I would think all of these will either make your life easier or make you a better game master.
And what's great is that you can pick and choose, right? You can say, this is my strength, this is my weakness. I'm great at maps, but I'm not very organized, so I need this thing. Or I have an encyclopedic list of names in my head, so I don't need a name generator, but I get my encounters wrong all the time. Pick what's good for you, what's useful for you, what will help you run your game, and ignore the rest.
And if you like this, if you are interested, Rob and I are thinking about setting up a Patreon. It's going to be exciting. We're going to have extra stuff. Let us know what you would like to see.
Absolutely. We will be launching that soon. TM? Yeah, let us know like what you'd
soon,
like to see.
Soon as in like a Blizzard game. So it'll be about 2 years from now.
Let us know what you'd like to see. We're thinking, of course, bonus episodes. We have a lot of homebrew content that is either 70% finished or needs to be polished and released that we would like to show to you. We have other things that we'd like to work on, and this would light a fire under our ass. So please send us an email or a DM if there's anything that you want us to do, and we'll keep you all updated. Follow us on Twitter if you don't for updates, and we'll tell you more about what's going on here.
Absolutely. And hey, thanks for listening. If you have any questions or want to send us those favorite resources of yours that we didn't cover, drop us a line at dmofnone@gmail.com. And if you enjoyed the show, please leave a rating or review, or just, make your roommate do it if you've already done it. Just steal their phone and click 5 stars. Actually,
right.
Don't do that. Don't steal anyone's
Don't steal any phones. But pressure your friends, family, loved ones into giving us a 5-star rating. Thanks for listening, everybody. Stay healthy, stay safe, get vaccinated, and keep rolling them dice.
If I had